Welcome, everybody, to Dueling Aces for April 29th, 2024, post NFL draft. And of course, Mr. Zolt with the best background ever in podcast history.
Well, we're live here in the traffic copter up above the remnants of the NFL draft. I'm
It
gonna
is
tell you,
awesome.
folks, it was a beautiful party. We're glad you all came. Get the hell out. It's time to go home. Freeways are a mess. It's horrible. Nobody can get to work. Y'all need to go. Goodbye. Bye. See ya. You can come back the next time they let us have something. So, 14, 15 years down the road, come on back. But
It's like
glad,
at the end of Ferris Bueller. He
right?
walks
Go
out of the
home.
shower and he goes, "You're still here?
You're still here.
It's over. Go home.
Go home.
Goodbye. Goodbye." That's awesome.
I mean, we got signs to take down. I mean,
That's a big tent you have to take down.
and it's legit, I read today where it's all getting recycled and repurposed into, I don't want to say animal shelter, but like animal shelter slash spay and neutering locations. So they've already got it planned out what they're doing with all of it. So
Nice.
sure, that's
Yeah,
great.
well, no, that's good. I mean, at least
That's forethought. I'm not used to that.
nowadays, I mean, yeah, it's especially because it's like, hey, we're gonna build this. It's like, okay, what are you doing with it afterwards? I mean, it's not like it's for the Olympics or something, and they always build up those things, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do for it afterwards? And you're like, yeah, we didn't think about that.
All in all, though, I think the city did a really good job. It presented itself well. Um, I've heard no horror stories whatsoever. Um, so I think it went really well. I think it made us look good, and I'm not used to saying stuff like that.
No, and it totally
What's up,
did.
Kevin?
Hey, Kevin, how are you? No, and Detroit did a very nice job. Sam from Birds of the Gridiron even said earlier, he said, "What a fantastic job." I mean,
Hmm.
everything just looked so smooth. And I know I can't wait to chat with Justin and the guys on Wednesday too. Justin actually went to the draft, was downtown, and I can't wait to hear some of the stories he's got. He took his little one with him. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, big time experience for the little one. Got to go to her first baseball game and everything. It's like, oh man, they made a good weekend out of it. So, I mean, bravo for you guys having that plus the Tigers in town at the same time. Woo.
It was scheduled really well. I mean, I'm gonna say that just throw on Friday, throwing the Tigers at 1, then the draft in the evening, and then on Saturday, draft early, kind of folded into the Tigers. The Tigers started, I think, like 40, 45 minutes before the draft ended. So I mean, those people probably didn't have a whole lot of parking spots to choose from. But I mean, honestly, the amount I'm curious what attendance was at the start of the Tiger game on Saturday, and what it was saying about the fourth inning.
Right. I was going to say it increased
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
just a bit, just a bit. I mean,
Because I mean, let's
it
face it,
was,
you got at on Saturday it was probably what 150, 175,000 people there. You all think you're getting home in a reasonable amount of time if you're all leaving at the same time? No,
no.
just go to the Tiger game because
Mhm.
you're going to be there anyway.
Yeah, or, choose one of the several hundreds of restaurants.
Yes,
You
yeah.
definitely,
Oh yeah.
walk down a couple corners and pick something, you've got everything there, plus the casinos too. So, I mean, Detroit definitely had a very busy weekend.
Hey, Kevin, you found out a way to get one. Oh, dude, you can't tee them up like that. You just can't. I can't help myself if you're just gonna literally throw it over the plate.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that was too easy. Way too easy. Too easy, drill sergeant. Too easy. So the Lightning are, oh wow, it's 5 to
Yeah,
1
it's
now. Ouch.
6 minutes.
I'm looking at 2 minutes and 11 seconds in the third. Kevin said yes, and I will.
I mean, give it to the Lightning. The goalie's pulled. You're down by 4. I mean, 4 goals in 2 minutes. I mean, I
Yeah,
wish you all the best, but
yeah. Good luck with that.
warm up the bus, man.
Yeah, yep. I mean, you're going against the number one seed. I mean, it was going to be difficult.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's one of those
My guys,
things.
on the other hand, are really ticking off on looking on an upset.
Yeah.
They're looking to turn around and tattoo the Jets. We got one more to go, and the Avs will move on and progress. So I'm looking forward to that.
When do they play tomorrow?
Uh, when no, yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yep,
Yep.
yep, tomorrow night. So they can finish that up at home tomorrow. That will be fantastic. I will be happy.
Speaking of, since I'm sure we'll be back to it since we've moved off the draft briefly. What the hell happened to the Arena League? Have you heard this nonsense?
No,
It quote unquote started this past weekend.
and
Are we
folded.
sure? It was supposed to be broadcast on NFL Network. Guys, I got news for you. There's something else going on this weekend.
Oops,
So
somebody foobarred that.
nothing got broadcast, or at least not there. One of the teams the league had to take control of before the season started.
Oh
And
no.
oh god, was it the Soul? Is that Philly, I think? Something like that. Literally, players got kicked out of their hotel rooms and told that their luggage and belongings would find its way to them. Um, they they had to bring in players from some they called it Arena League 2 to actually play a game,
Oh my
as opposed to the players that were supposed to be there. Uh, I will sit here and I will make fun of the UFL and I mean, I'll make fun of fan control football. That's fine.
God. But
You've been
oops,
Arena League's been in existence for a very long
long
time.
time. Yeah.
I Y'all should have had this figured out. So I mean, this is like regional wrestling stuff you're pulling here. I mean, what 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 is going on?
Is a oops. Um, I think here's an article in the Sports Business Journal. Philadelphia's Souls Arena League opener marred by off-field issues. And it was a chaotic and unsettling 48 hours as before they tried to go into the reboot this weekend. Yeah, they had been the Soul players had received release forms.
Yeah, they all got let go because I guess they couldn't be
Oh,
paid.
oh
I'm
my
assuming.
God. The Souls matchup against the Louisiana Voodoo in Lafayette wasn't even listed. The Soul did play the Voodoo on Saturday, though replacement players from another indoor league took the field in Soul jerseys, and the owner's replacement had been named Saturday morning. As you said, players from American Arena League Two's Dallas Falcons replaced most of the current Soul roster.
And of course they
Backlash
got blown
against
out.
backlash against the Soul and AFL was at full throttle as Soul fans and supporters were starting to learn what happened that led up to the team's flight to Louisiana. They were kicked out of their Philadelphia area Super 8 motel into the street early Friday morning because the motel bill wasn't paid and the
Yep.
players' luggage was taken from them and locked in a motel room. The players' luggage was taken from them and locked into a motel room. Oh my God. Wow.
Collateral until we get paid what you owe us.
Oh my God. Wow.
And it may have changed since, but from what I had read, yes, they played that game, and yes, it was a real game, but it is still not reflected on the league site as counting.
There's actually the league site is actually there's nothing listed.
Shocking.
Yeah, there is nothing actually listed at all. And it is just bizarre. There's no schedule, there no teams, there's no nothing. It's like they've just got the main website blanked out. That is super crazy. That's nuts. Unbelievable. That's a shame. Um the Panthers Lightning is over. The
Officially.
Rangers, of course, swept the Capitals. Their series is over. Carolina leads their series 3-1. Their game 5 is tomorrow. Boston and the Maple Leafs. Boston leads that series 3-1 as well with their game tomorrow. The Stars and the Golden Knights just started
Yeah,
now.
they just started.
The Canucks and Predators. Canucks lead that one 3-1 with their game 5 tomorrow. And Oilers and Kings, Edmonton leads that one 3-1. They don't play till Wednesday for their game 5.
I mean, good news. There's only one sweep, so and it was. I mean, Rangers. Rangers can, when they choose to, they can knock the lights out of anybody.
Right.
Um, so they'll most likely play Carolina a 1v2.
And in basketball, the Timberwolves swept the Suns. That one right there was pretty much, I think, the only one. The Celtics and Heat are in the fourth, and the Celtics are beating them 99-83. Thunders and Pelicans are really tight, 44-43. Thunder leading that one by a point. um, we touched on it just briefly about the weekend with the Tigers being at home too. I know it's been against my better judgment banning off the baseball that we don't talk about, but Jesus, Mary and frickin' Joseph. Have you seen the standings for the American League Central lately?
You're
And
gonna actually
boy,
make me look this up.
nobody's laughing at us now. We've only
I
got one
mean,
team, and there unfortunately there's got to be one, and that's the White Sox. Somebody's got to hold the basement, but
right.
Damn. Yeah, the AL Central is no joke, boys and girls.
No, 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 no.
No joke at all. It is an impressive and a very impressive start. That is no. It's a little crazy that everybody is sitting right around, the 500, but that's a heck of a good start.
To be fair, the East is no joke either. However, you expect it out of the East.
Right. You don't expect it out of the Central ever. Usually you've got 1 to 2 out of the Central. You don't have 4 out of the Central being this strong.
It's actually very similar to the NL East. If you go there, you've got the Marlins that everybody's
Mhm.
kicking the crap out of, but everybody else is 500 or better.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. I mean, and the nice thing is look at the cheaters sitting at the bottom. Sitting at the bottom of the barrel. The Astros are just getting squished. Not as bad as Miami, but bad enough.
Right.
Not as bad as Miami, but they're still in the basement. It's where we like them. That's where we like them. But yeah, what an impress. I mean, that is seriously impressive. I mean, even though Minnesota is 4.5 back, still, that's good. That is really good. It is. That it is nice to see. That is very nice to see. Did you win another week in NASCAR, by the way?
I came in second to, I think, is it Chipper? I think it's Chipper. We were all really close at the top there. Um, again, we had
Yeah, definitely, Kevin.
yeah, we had company over, so I wasn't able to check until like well into stage 3.
Bryce was, like I said, Bryce has had another baseball game, and that's a little bit of why we're a little late for this evening too. Um, got got in, got him food, showered, and it's like, okay, oh yeah, it's Monday.
Yeah, I was gonna say Chipper. That put Chipper in the lead. That win.
Did it?
Yeah. It's super tight. It's Chipper with 1987. Bruiser is right behind him with 1985. So 2 points between first and second, and then I'm right there with 1972. So I'm one good race behind.
Well, kicking back to the NFL,
Yep.
we all got a curveball we all saw this morning. Adam saw it super early this morning. That Zeke Elliott's going back to the Cowboys.
I mean, if they think that's going to solve their problems, I don't think that's going to solve their problems.
Yep, pretty much. Wow. I mean, it's like, dude, you needed a running back, and it's like, oh, well, we'll just go back and get the guy who we let walk out the door.
It's, they need a running back, and they still need a running back.
And trust me, even as a Buckeye fan, yep, they still need a damn running back.
Where did Michael Gallup signed to somewhere this afternoon?
Gallup went to the Raiders.
Yes, right. Yep. He
As
went to the Dugs.
he went to Doug's squad. That was
It was
an interesting.
one 1 year, 3 million, I think. So
Yeah, I mean, not a bad move.
no, no, no. I mean, for a guy he's right. I mean,
Kevin will be
it's
drafting
it's
him. Watch.
it's because Kevin, it's debatable. It
Right.
really is. Um, Gallup's just one of those guys. He needs a healthy season. I
Yeah.
can't remember the last time he had one. So
And I saw the Falcons extended activated Pitt's 5th-year option.
yes,
I mean,
the one good move they made over the weekend.
and I'd like to I want to go to that because
Yeah.
when I was on Birds of the Gridiron and I again got in after a ball game, when I saw that, I went, "Wait a minute, what?" um, not who anybody had the Falcons picking whatsoever, and it was like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" And you know, I think there were a lot of Atlanta Falcons fans who were just tearing up their season tickets and wanting to burn jerseys right out the rip, going, Are we stupid?" But
Is well, hang on. It was okay, first, it was great when they came out and said that, okay, well, they're setting up their, was it society their, their plan for after Kirk Cousins.
yes.
And then on Saturday, the number of comments I saw that was, "Well, they need to draft Stetson Bennett to set up the plan for after Michael Penix."
Oh, wow. That's cold. Justin, how are you, my friend? Looking forward to chatting with you and catching up your stories uh, about that wonderful event behind Dave there. Can't wait to hear about that. But yeah, if you really think about it, though, okay, out of the next 2 years, quarterbacks class, no matter where Atlanta falls, Cousins is on the 4 year deal, three active fourth year option. Okay, you go that 2 to 3 years. What, you want to be stuck trying to draft a quarterback and you might be sitting in the middle to the latter part and you're
Okay. I
SOL in the quarterback aspect?
I
Or this
understand.
is the Joe Burrow kind of philosophy thing, or Jordan Love, the Green Bay Packers. It's like you kind of went and snagged him now because it is what fits your system. I
Right.
think this is the I think they may have I scarily they may have gotten it right because
They
he will fit their system.
they might have.
They might
However,
have.
I understand that argument. "Hey, we're picking here, a guy we want is here. We're gonna grab him." I get that, I really do.
The graders even still give
However,
Atlanta a B plus, I think it
eh,
was on the NFL. I
well,
know the
I'm
athletic I know the
I'm
athletic tore people apart. I know
that's
you can't wait to
that's what I'm on right now.
yeah. I know you
Um,
can't wait to get to that. That right there,
they
I'm just like,
they
"Oh, I
they
heard the
ranked
whoopings."
their the drafts for every team 1 to 32. Atlanta is 32.
Yeah, Cleveland's 31.
30. You're 30. It's okay.
Yeah. I
Um,
love and I saw on the NFL one, they're like, "Draft day 1, a D." I'm going, "Hey, stupid. There wasn't any draft day 1, you
it
moron."
should be an
But
incomplete.
you know what they gave days 2 and 3? An A plus.
Alright.
And I went, "Okay, so we got a C plus rate." I'm like, "Get out of here." Look, all these draft grade things, you can't grade it right now is when you could grade the 2020
Yeah,
draft.
right. No,
You have to
absolutely,
wait 3 years. You need a good 3 years to turn around and
absolutely.
fairly grade a draft.
I know after last year's draft, Detroit was getting panned as you guys reached way too high on this guy, that guy, the other guy. And frankly, after the season we had and all those guys participated, it's
Yeah.
looking a heck of a lot
Yeah.
better. I will say this, for the Athletic, yes, they had Cleveland at 30. First line, with limited draft capital, it was going to be tough for the Browns to rank very high on this list.
Mhm. Mhm.
You go. That explains
Yeah.
it. So, at least they threw that in there. So, the Atlanta thing and pick 8, I understand. You've got a guy you want. You're gonna go get him. "Hey, we think this guy could be our future." Totally understand it. Just answer me this question. When they signed Kirk Cousins to 4 years, $100,000,000, did they know they were picking 8?
Yep.
Did they know that Michael Penix was in the draft and was basically ranked the 5th quarterback in this draft?
Here's the scarier thought. Was Penix, if you look at it, was Penix the best available on the board? pick.
he may have been. However, at the same time, everybody knows what the rankings for the quarterbacks were. I mean, we had
Yeah.
been talking about it for
Mhm.
weeks, if not months. They knew it as well. Penix wasn't going to be one of the top 3, top 4. You're sitting there at 8. And realistically, if you felt that strongly, how hard would it have been to move up to 6? It wouldn't have been. Or 5 even, the Chargers. I I'm just
But
saying.
you knew that New York was it once New York
Yeah,
did not take the quarterback, you knew the Chargers were not taking the quarterback, and you knew Tennessee wasn't taking a quarterback. So
and
you didn't have to move up. The scary
you're
part is you knew that Denver and Minnesota were coming.
true,
But
but it's
because those other teams, they were staying pat and they were picking, Atlanta's like, we don't have to make a move.
this and that just kinda leads into what I'm saying is, like, you're picking at 8 and you're taking your quarterback of the future. Why the hell did you sign a guy to 4,100? That just makes 0 sense. What that screams to me is, we need to solve this problem. We've solved the problem, and then somewhere in between, somebody flipped a switch and said, "You know what? I don't like the fact that we did this." This feels like no cohesion in somewhere in that organization, whether it's the owner and the GM coach.
And and that's what they said. There were people who had said, and I tried to look for it, but they said that there was a little video of Arthur Blank going over to the GM going, "Excuse me, what the hell were you doing?" It was quote unquote the rumor thing that Arthur Blank was like, "That's not what I was expecting at 8." And if your owner's not expecting that at 8,
Yeah,
hello.
I don't. I mean, granted, at the same time, at least your owner's not Tony Khan standing behind you as you're phoning guys. I mean, just every time they showed Jacksonville, I'm just like, that'd be rough
Stop.
being in that room, man.
Yeah. It's like stuff, it almost looked like draft day where it's the
Yeah,
rookie guy, in Jacksonville. It's like, "Oh, he's a rookie." It's like, "Oh, no, 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 no. Don't
I
show them
can't
no more."
I can't remember who their GM is, but it was almost like one of those things where you just want him to turn around and be like, Can I help you? Just let me do
"I'm
my job."
sorry, do you have a seat at the table? Do you have a reservation for here?"
It's like, I understand you own this, but let me do my job.
Um, I think the Jets kinda bullshine somebody, and that's why Minnesota had the swap
Yeah,
just
no,
for
it
the one
wouldn't that
spot.
wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah.
I think the Jets played it up that Denver was coming, and all of a sudden Minnesota's like, no, 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 we want our guy, and they suckered him into it. And then now Bo Nix has got to sit here and go, Jesus, there's 5 other quarterbacks in this room.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, I
I
mean,
mean,
we said that in our pre-draft
mhm,
extravaganza.
yep.
That room, they had made that room so that if they didn't get who they wanted, they I don't wanna say they were gonna be okay, but they were set up to start a season, you know? They had 3 guys with experience, not great experience, not great records, not great numbers, but they could have at least gone into the season, played it up, and at the end of the season, probably had a decent draft pick. Um,
I still think that if I'm hoping Sean Payton is going to do this right and doesn't let Bo Nix play at all. He doesn't see the field. Have the clipboard, put the headset on, keep him over by him the whole time, and just go.
Here's my question.
So it's like a hater saying Minnesota. No, Minnesota didn't reach.
They didn't reach.
Minnesota, no,
Okay.
Minnesota didn't reach.
I think Minnesota put them in a position where they were gonna trade up no matter what. They kinda created their own self-fulfilling prophecy where they were just like, "Yeah,
Right.
we're gonna do this. We're gonna move up." Whether they had to or not is a whole other story. Uh,
And they did it
it
twice.
they did. They did it
They did
twice.
it twice.
And I didn't hate what they did.
I
It is
didn't
what it is,
either.
but,
I thought they had a pretty
um,
solid draft.
here's
That
my
was a
question
good
though.
first round.
If you want Bo Nix sitting there with a clipboard for the entire year, Who in that room do you want him learning from?
Sean Payton. Just
Yeah.
you want him listening to Sean and say, "Hey, this is what you should be doing, and let's see if whomever's on the field works it that way." I truly think that that's how that's going to go down. But yeah,
Uh,
I mean he's going to have to. I'm thinking overall, he may have him watch some Drew Brees film. I don't doubt it. I just do not doubt it.
Jumping to Minnesota since we brought it up. Athletic literally has them at 15, so, you're in the middle. Um,
It's
uh,
not bad. I
no,
mean,
it's not bad.
it's
It
not
it
bad at all.
they literally said they came out of the first round with 2 players who should be cornerstone pieces. So,
Mhm.
McCarthy, yeah, he was a little bit hard to evaluate just because the tape the tape is there, but at the same time, he didn't have the passing reps, I guess, at least not as many as you want. But I mean, the tools are there, the intangibles are off the charts. So, I
Yeah,
mean, it's
the
worth
weapon arsenal he's got, it's
yeah,
like, "Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Thank you for giving me keys to a Ferrari.
And
I
then
can't wait to drive."
you picked up the number 1 edge rusher in the draft
Mhm.
at 17 no less. So, I
Yeah,
mean, uh, you were gonna have a decent grade coming out of that just because of day 1.
and how scary is that 14 offensive picks, the first 14 picks.
As honestly,
Whoo,
okay,
whoo. That
I went
that
into
was
whatever that was, and I did, like, 2 mocks. I did a
Mhm,
full round 1, and I did a round 1 and 2,
mhm.
um, and I did it kinda differently in each I'm plotting out players early in the draft, and I'm just like, "There's no way somebody's not gonna go defense. Somebody has to go defense," because I understand it's a slightly off year for edge rushers, but at the same time, the top edge rusher needs to go somewhere because that's just value. I'm not happy to see him in our division. Thankfully, I am a firm believer that Minnesota can screw up anything. Um, so we'll see. I mean, I do feel they got at the very least, if not quarterback of the future, they have a solid quarterback
I think
for
the
quite a
person who
while
turned
here.
around and turned off the TV set right out the get-go was Doug when the Raiders, of all people, drafted Bowers. I I was scratching my head going, "What? Wait a minute, what?"
So
I,
he's
I I'm
and I'm
I'm
looking
like,
for him.
excuse me, but didn't y'all just draft what the hell's that dude's name? Michael Mayer. You just
Yes.
got him last year. What's the problem? What in the world is the problem? And you went with I'm like, okay. Don't you need a little bit of help on that offensive line, the defensive line, the offensive line? I'm like, dude, okay. You went with the tight end that he was not the best available on the board. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. I'm gonna break some news to you. Athletic has them as number 11 for overall draft. Favorite pick, according to them, was Bowers. Let me give the rationale. Um, Let me give the rationale. When doing my final mock, I didn't give much thought to the Raiders drafting Bowers at 13, but it makes sense as Las Vegas wisely stuck to best player available. Even though the Raiders have a solid tight end depth chart, Bowers will spend time as a part-time slot receiver. He should quickly become the number 2 pass catching option in this offense behind Devontae Adams. I
Yeah,
don't I don't buy
somebody
that.
from the athletic, yeah, I was gonna say somebody was drinking when they wrote that. The Colts,
But
the Colts may got the steal of a deal. I mean, I saw how quick that pick was in too. The
yeah,
Colts, when when the Saints took Fuga, I was like, and then all of a sudden it wasn't even 30 seconds, and Colts pick is in already. I was like, oh, wait a minute, they're going defense here because somebody made it a point of saying that's freaking 14 offensive people. And I'm like, here comes the first defense, and the Colts are happy as all get out. And it was.
I mean, they were in a good position. I mean, uh, where they were drafting, somebody was going to fall to them. At O line, you can't go wrong with O line, but they went edge. Edge was, I mean, Latu, he's got a medical history, but at the same time, average size, average length, average strength, but he gets there. You can't argue with somebody who gets there. So, yeah, that was a good pick. I really like the Mitchell, the wide receiver pick in the second round too. I mean, that's Adonai Mitchell's going to have a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
So he was not happy with where he went, and not I don't mean location, I mean draft slot. So
I want to get there, just not just yet, Adam. I want to get there, but not just quite yet. Um, Detroit, you guys jumped up.
yes.
When they said you guys jumped up, I went, "Whoa, who are you
Okay.
coming up to grab?"
So let me. I've said this before. I said it in our pre-draft thing. It's like Brad Holmes, our GM. I don't think he has a full list like everybody else does. I think he has his list of guys that he wants. He and Dan Campbell get together. These are the guys that we want to go after, and they figure out a way to go after them. And they do not care if it's a fourth round grade on a player. If they have them, and they will take them in the second round. And they're also not scared to have players fall to them, a la Brian Branch from last year,
Right.
and that worked out
Really?
splendidly.
Yeah.
Um, so Detroit Lions had the number 3 pick the number 3 best draft according to the Athletic. Um, Getting Terry and Arnold at 24, yes, you traded up for him. At the same time, if they only had 6 pick or they ended up with 6 picks in this draft. If you don't feel you have players to bring in for your picks, why not give them up to move up to get guys that you want? I mean,
Right.
it makes sense. They're
And how
no
much
longer.
how much do you not need in the draft too?
Yeah,
It's like, I'm
exactly.
sorry, you really don't need. I mean, like the 49ers, I think, had what, 11,
Yeah,
10 or
something
11?
like that.
It's just like, did they really need all of them? You
And
know?
one of the arguments I heard after round one was, look, why are you using sixth and seventh round picks on guys that aren't going to make your roster? If if you're a team that's at that level, I yeah, I totally understand that. I mean, why just do that? And if you can bargain those away and move up, um,
Mike, the alternate helmet looks like a Carolina Panthers helmet to me.
yeah, I can't remember. I can't describe it off the top of my head. You'd have to bring it up. Um, but so okay, our weakness for a long time has been our defensive backs. Brian Branch turned him into a safety. Kind of, he already was sort of. He was kind of a tweener. We moved him to safety, and he's been perfect. Um, Signed some guys last year. They all got hurt. We let most of them walk. Um, Signed a few other guys. Terry and Arnold. I'm going to read this from the Athletic real quick.
Shoot.
He was number 10 on my board. Arnold was my highest graded defensive player in the entire draft, and the Lions get him at 24. Um, Aside from the talent he brings to the roster, the fit is what makes this one of my favorite picks. Arnold is one of the most competitive players in the draft class, and he's ideally wired not just for a cornerback, but especially for a Dan Campbell coached cornerback. This guy is going to be all out. He's going to go out there. He's going to hit. He's going to press cover. He's going to do exactly what we need him to do. No, you're absolutely right. That definitely looks like Carolina. That blue should be a little bit lighter, but I think then you kind of lose some of the pop. And I ain't paying 289 for it.
Yeah. That is a little odd.
Um, in the second round, they trade up for another corner, Rakestraw, which again, this Rakestraw they'd been talked about him going to the Lions if they stayed in their position at the first round. It was going to be either Kool-Aid or it was going to be Rakestraw. I mean, he follows deep into the second round, and we move up to grab him. Again, if our track record holds true, like with Brian Branch, if he can pull a turnaround like Brian Branch did as a corner, we are going to have a back five that is going to be very, very scary to play against. And they literally took the weakest part of the team and turned it into a strength.
Yeah, and there was
Couple,
like a whole full-on trade fest right out the
yeah,
rip for that
yep.
second round. I mean,
Which there usually is because guys fall that teams don't expect to fall. And it's one thing as they're going down the list, teams have their list of guys. This is who we're after, whatever. And when they sit back and think for half a minute when the first round is done and they start looking at who's available, and like, wow, these guys shouldn't be here. So teams that are able to are going to move up to grab. It's just not everybody's able to.
like I said, the start of the round one, I think, really is what definitely set the precedent for everything else that was falling. I mean, and I'll get to Mike's other comment here. They're putting it with the black uniforms, which is sick. It just doesn't match the Detroit blue for him.
And I'm gonna hang on, but before we do this, I want to screen share real quick.
Go ahead.
Make sure I can get this, and it comes up okay. This is Terry Arnold. By the way, I absolutely loved that suit. But this was him on the stage after he got taken. And you tell me whether this guy is happy with what just happened. Oh, come on, play. Thank you. If it will play, please. Come on.
Come on.
It's not hard. You were just playing while George was talking.
Don't tell me it's your internet. It's locking
It
up.
could be. I mean, who knows? Hang on. I'll see if I can bring it back up.
I think it was somebody shared in our chat the roar of the
Yeah, that was me. Oh, that was me.
You got picked. I kid you not. I played that and the
Yeah.
arm hairs on my arm stood up. I was like,
that was
whoa, that is
that
cool.
was incredible. All right,
that
we're
was
gonna try
awesome.
this again.
Sound. We need sound. It's muted. Go click on the sound.
No, sorry, it's not muted for me. I'm hearing it loud and clear.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
All right. Anyway, he was happy to be there. Let's just say it. He was happy to be there.
Yeah, that roar, like I said, I'm just watching it, it's just silent, and then you hear the announcement over the speaker and she announces it and the crowd just goes nuts.
Yes, that was
Super
crazy.
cool. So how many actually were on the invite, by the way? Did you get a final number on that for who was invited to the draft? Because like you just showed that he was there. Do we know like what the actual number of the invites were for the green room?
I want to say it was 13 off the top of my head. I believe it was 13. JJ McCarthy did not respond in time, so he was not given an invite. I'm trying to think how many guys actually did show up for it.
Yeah, Mike, over 750.
Yeah, I think it was like 775 is what the final total they're putting in it. They're at least the NFL's putting it at.
Yeah, because when they showed that he was there, I was like, wow, I said that would have been pretty deep into the draft. And I thought, well, we know that they were limiting the pick people for the green room. And it's like, was anybody there that was day two? or was it a
No, no, no.
successful one?
I believe
Everybody was wrong.
the last one was Darius Robinson.
Okay.
Um, and again, the NFL limited how many people they were inviting specifically because they did not want anybody to be sitting there for round two. Let's see if I can pull up this list. I think they said 13 actually did attend. Terry and Arnold, Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison, J.C. Latham, Latu, Drake May, Quinion Mitchell, Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, Darius Robinson, Brian Thomas, Dallas Turner, Caleb Williams. That was it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Darius Robinson, I think, was the last out of that group.
Yeah. Um, before before I get back over to Adam's bonehead move of the night, I actually was thrown off when the 49ers picked the wide
I don't
receiver.
know. I don't know what the hell you guys were doing.
I was just I'm still I'm still kind of like, okay, after looking at the whole team draft, I'm like, all right, what? I'm sitting there thinking to myself, John Lynch had to have gone to the bathroom and York made the damn pick. And I'm like, somebody get that guy out of the damn room. He just, oh, he drives me up a wall. That is one dude who should never, it's like, look, just because you married, into the family and you're taking things over, no, we got to get rid of this dude. Swear to God. Oh, I just keep thinking this moron keeps making stupid things happen. And it's like, look, you've got John Lynch there for a reason. Quit screwing things up for him. It's driving me up a
Yeah,
wall.
I
Because
think
I don't think that was the necessary need that you needed at all for a
no, I
first
think
round.
another part of it was I don't want to say you were drafting guys out of turn, but it was like you okay. You definitely had your guys that you wanted, and you went and got them. And I'm not going to argue that.
Uh-oh. You froze. Oh no.
It's I don't know.
Go,
It
there,
was
there you are. Now you
I'm finally
unfroze.
yeah yeah. It's
I'm like,
we got storms coming through here too, so that's not probably
yeah,
helping
I was
matters.
gonna say so do I, but I was like, all right,
Um,
was it me or you?
I don't know. It was just weird, and I made the joke in chat that this is like when you're at your fantasy football draft and you're picking guys and you realize that, oh wait, this is page 2, not page 1. That's almost what it felt like. It's like you guys were the guys you were
Yeah.
taking. To be fair, the Athletic wasn't thrilled with your draft either. I believe you were 25th. Um,
Oh,
they they liked the Ricky Pearsall pick, the wide
the
receiver.
weird thing is a lot of people said that they thought that was a great pick. They really thought genuinely that that was a good pick because it would help with a solid slot receiver. And I was like,
Yep.
oh, okay.
Yep.
I mean, if that's the way they're looking at it, all right, fine. But
Well, they
I
also
mean,
said so
there's a
athletics
lot
is
more.
he's versatile. He can literally play any position on across the
Mhm.
formation. Um, ball skills, very savvy pass catcher. If he gets chemistry with Purdy, he'll make a decent impact in round one. They also really liked the guard that you got from Kansas,
Which are needed.
Dominic Pooney, I believe is.
Yeah.
Um, they just said a chance for a long-term future at center, and that would solve that problem for you
Yep.
guys for a while.
Yep. Yep. 100%. I wasn't mad about that one at all.
But I mean, other than those picks, not
Yeah.
terribly sure what the hell you guys were doing.
Yeah. Like I said, I think York must have locked Lynch in the bathroom.
I'm gonna. I know we've got Adam's bonehead thing.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna take issue with the number one team that the article has.
Who'd they put
Chi
number one?
Chicago. I understand quarterback of the future paired with a top wide receiver. I don't have problems with that. My issue is, I know it's Carolina's pick, but their pick was what, ninth? So there were only 8 teams worse than you in the league. You only had 5 picks in the draft. How the hell did you end up number 1? Because you
Yeah.
needed so much more. But
And I thought that they were going to trade that 9 and they were going to trade out of that to get more.
right, right. Again, I understand you paired up your quarterback with your wide receiver. It's going to get very expensive about 4 years from now.
Right.
But
And you've got a stadium to build.
and you got a stadium to build. Um, I just really take issue with Chicago at number 1. I mean, they had a fine draft. I don't think they beat out everybody. And you're gonna hate me for saying this. They have Pittsburgh at number 2, and I completely agree with them. Completely agree.
I was going to say
Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh had a solid draft. I'm
they
not
I
going to lie. They were pretty solid and I think they did address a lot of their actual needs.
yes, that's
I mean,
exactly what they I mean,
especially right off the rip because you know that that dude has got to go against Miles Garrett twice a year. And it's
yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, good luck, buddy."
I was gonna say they picked up 3 offensive linemen, including their first 2 picks. They know where the problem is, and they're
Mhm.
trying to fix it. That
Yep,
that's exactly what a team that is picking fairly early is supposed to do.
yep.
So, and yes, I understand, Adam, you don't like the fact that Roman Wilson is there. At the same time, best receiver available at the time. I don't know. It is what it is.
I was gonna say, which quarterback's throwing to
Hell if I know.
him? So we'll address the elephant in the room.
Sure.
Yeah, you're trading with your AFC division rival. You
Yeah.
don't want
Hmm.
Worthy. Uh, I mean, you not only did you not trade out once or trade down, you traded out of the round
Mhm.
altogether.
Yep.
And it's like, hello, really? Worthy isn't the
Yeah.
guy for your system, and yet you went and got, ironically, the guy that I said that the Browns were going to turn around and go grab in the second round in Kean Coleman. I was like, well, okay, this draft is really off the rails. I was like, what is going on here?
Okay, I have to assume this was Kansas City calling Buffalo because I mean
Yeah,
Buffalo would be staring at Worthy in the face, and Kansas City just made them an offer where they're just like, Worthy's not that much better than the next guy, so we'll go ahead and do it. Whether that's right or not is a whole other story. Um,
well,
yeah,
When Worthy's torching them in the AFC Championship again, and it's like, oh yeah, thank you. You know, Kansas City's going to go, yeah, you could have had him.
I mean, so Buffalo then took Keon Coleman, who
Yeah,
is a fine receiver. I mean, he's a possession receiver, which is kind of what they need because they need somebody to catch the damn ball right now. Um,
yeah. I was going to say they
so
need a few guys.
if they were true, if they were perfectly happy with Keon Coleman, though, then that's why you make that trade. And as far as being in the division, this is the draft. We're trading draft picks. I don't think it's that huge of a deal as much as it is would be trading actual players. That would be a huge deal because
Fair
there's
enough.
all kinds of shenanigans is happening then. Um, Honestly though, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Buffalo had 10 picks. You had 10 picks. You got ranked 20th. Congratulations. You failed. um, they were all over the place. Realistically, I don't know why they only drafted one wide receiver. I really don't. I'd have to look up their UDFA signings to see if they grabbed somebody else.
Now,
I have to believe they did.
the one team that, when I looked at it, that I thought picked right and seriously did a heck of a job addressing their needs was Washington. Where did they rank Washington? Because I
Uh,
thought when I looked, when you're looking over who everybody got, and when I got down all when you get down to the last group, which is Washington alphabetically, I went and I'm looking over Washington's and I'm going, okay, we knew already you were going quarterback. It's like, okay, well, what else did you get? And when I looked over that, I'm going, all right, you did a little bit of mix of everything. And they really did fulfill a lot of the holes that they gave away the farm before ownership changed hands and that thing turned into a disaster. Literally looking over it, I'm like, hey, this isn't a bad draft.
no, it's not
It
terrible. They've
really
got them.
wasn't.
They've so they're in the top third. Um, you got your quarterback. You got well,
You got
Johnny
a
Newton is
McCaffrey. You
you
got
got
a
you got
McCaffrey.
a McCaffrey.
You got a
Um,
McCaffrey. Hey,
I mean,
that's a wide receiver now. I mean, it's not a running back. You got to. Yep. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
uh, yeah.
Yep.
Let me just regardless taking round one out of the equation. You got your quarterback. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Round two, they had 3 picks in round two, and you got Johnny Newton, the number 2 defensive tackle in the draft,
Hmm.
who
Hmm.
somehow fell to round 2. You got Mike Sanders who he he's a
Yeah.
dog. He's gonna
Yep.
go out there and he's gonna make plays. That's what he's
Yes,
gonna
he
do.
is. Yep.
And you got, I believe it's Ben Sinnott, who was the number 2 tight end in the draft, and you got him at pick 53.
Which was
So
crazy since Bowers goes that
since
early. It's like,
Bowers
oh,
went at
okay.
13, yeah,
Yeah.
40 picks later, you got the
40 picks
next one.
later, it's like, oh, ta-da! Look who's in our lap. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And then
Like I said.
you still addressed your line by taking a tackle in round
Yep.
early in round 3.
And
Um,
and you also grabbed McCaffrey in round three.
you grabbed a wide receiver, Luke McCaffrey in round 3. Was that a compensatory pick? I think it was. It
At
was like pick number
37. Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
Um,
And I was wondering, because we had addressed it's like, all right, where are all the kids going? You know, where are all the kids going to? And when I saw Washington was the one who got McCaffrey, I'm like, hey, that's not bad.
no,
That
it's not
kind of
horrible.
helps. That helps. I mean, Scary Terry's going to be sitting there going, hey, all right, something else. Get rid of that damn double team off of me,
Right.
you know? Um, they
I'm
also got
gonna
the linebacker McGee from Temple and Hampton safety, also both in round 5, and then they picked up the kid from Notre Dame in the second pick of
yeah.
the 7th round. So,
Yeah.
like I said, all in all, that's a really solid
It
first. I mean, the
was a
first
solid
5
draft.
picks.
Yeah.
That's a great, great 5 picks right there.
Yep.
Really nice.
Not used to saying that about Washington.
Washington,
Um,
well, and like we said, it's new ownership. It's not Dan
right.
Snyder in the box anymore.
Okay.
It's
I
new
just
ownership.
yeah. Real quick, I brought up Buffalo Bills, their undrafted free agent signing so far. They grabbed Xavier Johnson, the kid from Ohio State, for wide receiver. Um, I don't know if he was a wide
And
receiver or more special teams for you guys.
Gore Jr. too.
They did grab Gore Jr.
They grabbed Gore Jr.
I mean, okay, so when Devin Singletary reverts to form and doesn't do anything, um, but oh, they've invited the quarterback from Troy to the rookie camp, Gunnar Watson.
I saw Seattle invited Tua's little brother
Yes,
to
they did.
theirs.
Yep,
And after looking at like their quarterback room, I'm like,
it's a
you know
good
what,
idea.
dude? You could sneak right on up into number 3 without an issue. And depending on how crazy Sam does, you could sneak yourself into 2A, 2B.
Right, right.
You could sneak in there. I'm just like, it's not a bad thing. The guys who are undrafted and get to go to camp. Listen, Jones Drew,
Yeah,
he
right.
was one. Arian Foster, He was one. I listen. I'm not. I am never knocking an undrafted individual whatsoever after a draft is over. Never will I ever turn around and question any of it, because it's just like, just because you didn't get a name pick doesn't mean that you can't be a good player,
And I'm not gonna.
or even a I mean even a contributing player to your
Yeah,
squad, to
right.
your team.
I'm not gonna. I'm not bringing this up just because friend of show. I think Philly had a top three draft.
Yes,
Uh, I'm not gonna say they completely remade their cornerbacks because they still
but they did
have
they
Darius Robinson. Um,
right.
but
And Slay
Quinn,
will be gone in 2 years anyway.
yeah. Well, I mean that's just it. The
So
Slay's I think like 33.
yeah,
So Quinion Mitchell. They would say arguably number one defensive back. I would say Terry Arnold, arguably the number one defensive back. Whatever. I mean,
DeJean.
you got a guy in the argument. Cooper DeJean, who
Yep,
was supposed to go first round, and they got him at
didn't
40.
I know.
Um,
Yeah, I
Jalix
saw
Hunt,
that Landry trying.
why not?
Who?
Bring him
Who?
in. Jalix Hunt, the defensive end from Houston Christian, who will, it's one of those, yeah, he didn't, Houston Christian, who are you actually playing against? But if he's got the intangibles, let's see what the
Mhm.
hell happens. And even Will Shipley, the running back from Clemson, that was a good pick. Even their later ones, I mean, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., the
Right.
linebacker, you got a legacy pick.
Yep.
Um, the kid from
That, and I
Florida
thought the
State,
49ers might have pulled one of
yeah,
those, but instead Harbaugh did it. Harbaugh snagged him. And I was like, well, hey,
uh,
Harbaugh knows he needs a receiver.
yep. I was just gonna say Johnny Wilson from Florida State. Didn't, not great numbers or whatever, not great measurables, but he's a huge wide receiver. You can always use a guy that's
Mhm.
taller than everybody else
Yep.
to throw the ball.
100%. Go up,
And
catch
then,
football.
yep. And
Jump
then
up football.
Trevor Keegan, you draft anybody off of Michigan's O line from this year, you're not going to be
Yeah,
unhappy.
yeah. As Sam kept saying, even on his show, I caught a little bit of it earlier, when his started. He's like, draft a winner. He kept saying that Thursday night. He
Yeah.
goes, we'll draft winners. It's like, yeah, totally get it. You can't go wrong with any of them. I'm not going to deny that by one bit.
Right. Um, yeah, and Harbaugh, he only took two of his guys. Yes, he did. He got his tattoo, like he promised. Um, they had 9 picks for the Chargers, two Michigan guys, so it wasn't completely loaded up. I mean, he drafted his big left tackle, Joe Alt. He got a wide receiver from Georgia, so hopefully Herbert can pair up with him pretty good. At the
Yeah,
same
when they
time,
drafted Alt, I was like, "Ooh,
yeah,
oh."
yeah,
I was surprised because I was like, weren't you supposed to take a wide receiver there? That's what I
somebody's
thought.
going for the trenches. Yep,
Nope. He turned around. He goes, "No, we got to work on that line." I'm actually thinking Justin Herbert turned around and saw that and went, "Thank you very much.
right. Yes, it's like
Thank
thank you
you,
for listening.
thank you."
Um,
I'm tired of this line
but
falling apart.
when you think about it, taking Joe Alt in the first round, they still walked out of that draft with 3 wide receivers
Mhm. Yeah.
because they picked up McConkey,
Yep.
um, they picked up
Who was supposed to fall to Kansas City, and Kansas
yep.
City went, nope, we'll take up. It's like,
We'll
okay,
we'll take Worthy instead. They picked up and then seventh round Brendan Rice and Cornelius Johnson. So
Johnson.
um, yeah, I mean we'll see who cracks the lineup there.
Are you kidding? That ought to be the starting three.
It could very well
I
be.
mean, I mean, I'm sorry, Quentin Johnson and two other dudes that just scratch your head and go, "Are we watching a major league movie?"
Right.
Because it's like, no, I'm sorry, but I could see all three of those dudes starting over the whole stinking group that they've got right now, which I think is only four dudes. So yeah, Harbaugh is definitely not going to make any bones about. Hey, yeah, we're gonna. It's an open door. Go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, it was a decent first draft for that
Yeah,
group.
yeah, we know, Mike. Yeah, you and Russell Wilson, you'll be buddies. Don't you worry. I'm sure you're more happy about Justin Fields being there than you are Russell Wilson. Let's just say Bryce already said no to the Pittsburgh Steelers jersey. So smart boy, smart boy.
I'm a little surprised Seattle came out of this draft without taking a wide receiver somewhere. I mean, isn't Lockett like 40?
No, but they're still kind of heavy in receiver right now.
All right.
They really are. They've got. I mean, they drafted the one kid last year who has turned out to be phenomenal too. So no, I think they're. Well, I'm sorry. Excuse me. The two receivers, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and the other kid with he had the other nickname. I can't remember right off the top of my head. Damn it. No depth chart. Thank you. Give me a quick second here. Bobo.
Oh, Jake Bobo.
Bobo. Yeah. So they've got Metcalf, Lockett, Bobo, um, Jackson Smith. LaVisca Chenault is also there too.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, well,
I'm so terribly impressed.
but he's the hey, Lockett just ran 90
Yeah.
freaking yards down the field, throw somebody in.
But let
You
me go
know,
out there, coach.
I
Let me
got I
run a
got
play,
this.
coach.
But yeah, they've got literally it's 3, 6, 7. They have 9 wide receivers.
Yeah, I
They're
see it.
good. They're good.
Okay. All right. When are you going to draft a quarterback?
Yeah, that's I think that's why, in fact, it's funny because they're just showing Gino and Sam on the list right now.
Uh-huh.
They didn't even show the other two kids. And knowing that Tua's little brother's there, it's like, yeah, we'll just fill Tua's name in on that third spot because that's who's going to be there. I think they'll take. I think they'll take Tua's little brother, and even though I think at that point it's going to be, they're going to move on from Geno Smith because it's Geno,
Yeah.
and the competition is Sam and Tua too.
I will say that just I know we're going up on it. I want to get the hell out of here.
Yep.
Just going down the list of teams. They've got Cincinnati at 18. I actually kind of liked Cincinnati's draft. You started off with Mims, the
Right.
offensive tackle, which is a need.
Yes.
Um,
Huge need.
Chris
Huge
Jenkins,
need.
the defensive tackle. I mean, anybody whose nickname is the mutant, that's probably a good pick.
Mhm.
Um, you got Burton, the wide receiver, another defensive tackle in McKinley Jackson. Um, you two tight ends. Um, I don't know. I thought they did a lot. I kind of disagree with them being in the back half of the league.
Yeah. It literally it looks like it's literally the same setup, kind of like Washington. You
Yeah,
addressed a lot of your needs on the holes of where you've gotten. But like I said, that's why you can't really grade all this until 3 years from now. I mean, right now, if you're looking at it, it's like on paper. Did you fulfill what you had as far as needs? Yeah, you totally did. It says here the only one thing they did not address was running back. I don't think that they needed to. I think the couple of kids that they've got already in Chase Brown, I think they're fine.
I legit think Cincinnati goes into this year running a 1A, 1B, 1C.
Yeah.
This is going to be the definition of running back by committee with Zach Moss, Chase Brown, Travion Williams, and they're going to sprinkle in Chris Evans too, just because. Um,
Yeah.
I
And
legit think that's. They are not building a team to be ground and pound. They're building a team that we're gonna throw the ball to Chase, we're gonna throw the ball to Higgins, and
We'll sprinkle in some run.
multiple tight
Yeah.
ends.
And it'll be 60-40. It could be 70-30 some games. But I mean, that's what they're going to roll the dice with.
Yeah,
So, I mean, and especially when you got the two tight ends, it's like, yeah, you're darn right.
right.
That's exactly what you're going to do. But no, I think their draft was totally fine too. Yeah, totally agree with it. Um, Real quick on the
Yep.
Browns. I I'm not I'm not mad about. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot to work, but eh, I think they missed out on working a running back. I totally still think they should have went to dig up any one of them. I mean, no fourth rounder. Yeah, I get it, but you're sitting there with a couple of sevenths and a sixth. Throw it, go get a running back, and have a nice day.
Um, so, like as
Adam
I
says
said,
he's not a fan of Hall. Okay,
let
look, whatever you
let
Wolverine.
me okay,
Okay,
so The Athletic addressed that. I mean, they talked about your draft. Again, you only had 6 picks, nothing in the first round. You shouldn't have been ranked down at 30. You should have been somewhere in middle of the pack, I think, or at the very least, like 20. Um, they did say they drafted 2 risky yet promising players in day 2, and that's Hall and Zinter. Um, Zinter mainly because he's coming off that injury. You don't know how
right,
fast he's going to recuperate. Again, it's hard to go wrong. At least this year, that's for damn sure.
right.
Their favorite pick was actually your 5th round wide receiver, Jamari Thrash. Um, they called him a twitchy athlete with natural receiving instincts. And they called him a 3-level threat. So, um, hey, take that. And then day 3 pick who could surprise Nathaniel Watson, the linebacker from Mississippi State. Um, Browns added Jordan Hicks and Devin Bush this offseason, but the future of the Mike linebacker position is a question mark. Nathaniel Watson might be able to fill that role because of his quick reaction skills and tackling ability. He racked up 250 total tackles over the last 2 seasons. That quickness downhill allowed him to make numerous plays. So
But what about?
they
I
did
was going to say because I think even next year the Browns could turn around and get that kid from Texas
right.
at the Mike linebacker spot. That dude was just all over the place, and they're just like, yeah, as a sophomore, and I'm going, oh, sweet, okay, coming in next year, all
Right.
right, it's
Right.
sweet. I know who I'm looking at next year.
Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, y'all had limited capital. You did what you could with it. Again, I mean, they said risky yet promising. I mean, if you're not picking until round 2,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
probably what you're gonna be left with. If you want a guy that's gonna make an impact, there's gonna be some risk involved. So,
yeah,
um, they've got Denver ranked 31.
as they should be.
I mean,
It's
Bo Nix might be fine, but at the same time, he's not ready.
no,
So,
and he
there's some
won't be. He won't be. And like I said, I think he should definitely sit back, kick back, relax, and enjoy and listen to Sean. Have the clipboard, pay attention to a lot of film, and don't do what the morons are going to do.
I will say this, whether I'm not saying gonna be a superstar or anything like that, but pairing Nix with Troy Franklin, good idea.
Yeah, very good
That was a
idea.
good idea.
Yes. At least get him one of his own toys that he's used to handling and having around. Yeah, I do not disagree with that. It's like you've already got chemistry with the guy. That's
Yeah.
everybody's learning the
Yep.
Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Everybody's learning real quickly. Go get your QB's wide receiver from college. The sooner, the better.
Yep.
So yeah,
And
I
then
don't disagree with that.
we already talked about the idiots that are the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, We don't have to revisit them.
No.
Nope, not at all. Alrighty. I was gonna say, was the where is oh, the Lakers are up on the Nuggets. Oh, darn it, would you look at that? The Lakers won't go away. It's only 41-37 into the second quarter, so we're not going to get too excited yet. Outside of that, it's just about 11 o'clock, sir. I think we fulfilled what we could, what we wanted to accomplish anyway.
It was a good recap.
Yeah, solid recap show. And now the fun, let the games begin.
OTA is coming in hot.
OTA's hot and fast and furious.
Rookie mini camps.
Oh, Jesus. Yep. Okay, Mike. You remember, that's the Russ you trust.
Hey, that's the other conference. I really don't care.
Yeah, so it's like, not my circus, not my monkeys.
Not my problem.
It
Not my
is
problem whatsoever.
not his problem whatsoever at all. What was the other? The Chiefs make Kelsey the highest paid tight end as well. The running joke on the radio today was, so who negotiated that deal? Travis, his agent, or Taylor?
I
It
mean,
was one of those. Wow, thanks,
he
guys.
had. I tell you what. I mean, he went from having 0 guaranteed dollars this year to having 17 million. So, good job.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We covered Gallup going to the Raiders. Doug ought to just be sitting there going, "Yep, whatever." Mahomes Super Bowl rings get involved in WWE Raw action. So apparently,
Hang
somebody
on.
was in Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, Mahomes was. Sorry, my internet literally blinked out. Like it disappeared, and then just came back. Um, and I went to Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and Michael Gallup. Wow, that's okay. You got 2 tight ends that can catch the ball.
Members of the Kansas City Chiefs were baby faces and heels on Monday night. Apparently, they were all in attendance for Monday Night Raw. U.S. champion got some help from Patrick Mahomes. So apparently, he must have punched somebody out. He's sitting there. He's letting Logan Paul turn around and have all of his rings. And he turned around and he was going to knock somebody out. Really? Yeah. 3 Super Bowl rings on his hands, and he's knocking out Uso. Oh, nope. It ducked and knocked out one of his own guys. Gotta love WWE. Gotta love them. So now we've got, of course, free agents who will be looked at now. Tyler Boyd is ready and waiting for somebody.
Yeah, somebody will pick him up.
Somebody's going to pick him up. Somebody is going to pick him up. I am not going to be surprised if Harbaugh takes a look.
I mean, why not?
I wouldn't be surprised if Harbaugh takes a look.
I was gonna say, honestly, Jerry Jones probably would have gone after him, except he can't afford him.
I was going to say Jerry can't afford much of
Oh,
anything.
that's exactly right.
Somebody joked around Thursday night and was even saying Jerry should just turn around and trade out of the first round because he can't afford anybody for a first round pick, which we know is true because we know that they are not working with Dak's contract whatsoever, and it's going to be bye-bye. So if anybody should have actually been looking at grabbing a quarterback, it should have been Dallas.
They weren't in a position to.
No. But I'm saying in the latter
No, I
round,
get you. Yeah,
the story.
no,
I mean, But oh God, it pains me to say it. But they got this guy, Trey Lance. I
Future of
think,
the
I
organization.
think, I think that's why they went and fetched Lance. It's as much as I'm just like, oh my God, if Lance works in the system, he works in the system. And more power to you if he does. I mean, granted the fact, I wasn't thrilled with him going to the 49ers. I said he wasn't the right fit. It was proven right. He wasn't
Yeah.
in the right fit. It's the wrong. You can draft the best quarterback, but if he doesn't fit your system, and that's why we said with Chicago, you said it. Chicago only visited one person. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you make sure he works with your system. If he doesn't work with your system, you have just pulled a Mitch Trubisky draft again. And you are going to be criticized for a long time for it. If you're around that long. All right, sir. Well, I think it's time to roll. What do you think?
Let's get the hell out of here.
Thanks, Mike, Adam chipping in through the chat, Justin, Kevin. Thanks for jumping in. Everybody who catches this on the replay tomorrow, we'll turn around and catch you on the flip side next week. Until then, see ya.